What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loud Spot. I'm your host, Sebastian, hanging out with my co-host tonight. This way, nope, that way. Southern Flame Don McIntyre, and we are hanging out with William Wenz from Modern Day Escape and the mastermind behind When We Were Hungry Festival.
Pancakes in the pit, you know.
Oh boy! Here it comes! The motherfucking Loud Spot!
All right, before we start this episode, I do want to remind everyone to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check us out on all podcasting platforms. Okay, I should say Sir William, because it's now.
Sir, I've been officially knighted by the pancake gods.
Yes.
Is that how that works?
I think so.
The meme god.
This whole thing started off, I think originally, wasn't it kind of like not real, like a meme? It was kind of a joke.
Oh, 100%. Like, I want to be so clear about this. Like, there was no intention to actually make a festival in late January at 3:00 in the morning when I was on my photo editing app making memes. Okay, let's just be clear about that. I just saw that there was social traction. I was like, yeah, this is good for the band. People who maybe don't know who we are, they see our name popping up. Maybe they go check out our stuff. Maybe they like it, stick around. Yeah. So I made a couple posts, and I won't lie. Like, it was kind of like seeing what I Set My Friends on Fire was doing on their social media, and the level of trolling that they were doing. I'm like, I could do that.
Right.
And people were egging us on. They don't know that it's me that runs the page. So
They watch this, they know now.
yeah, well, amen. Just ruined my anonymity.
So you come up with a slogan, memes into dreams, right? And then it's almost like you have two slogans, because the other one is the hashtag
pancakes in the pit.
Right. So did Denny's, now I want to be clear about this, because I first saw the term memes in the dream thing, and then I saw when the pancakes in the pit kind of came out, and that itself took off on its own. Just didn't you have a meeting with Denny's though at some point before now? So that means winky winky, and we're not talking about it on the Loud Spot podcast, what that means. But did the pancakes in the pit thing, that's still a part of the show, right?
Oh, 100%. Like, I mean, regardless of whether Denny's is involved or not,
so
the show must go on. Okay. And I think there's a little bit of confusion on like how the whole Denny's thing got involved in the first place. So again, I was kind of piggybacking somewhat off of I Set My Friends on Fire. They had mentioned something about just showing up at a parking lot and playing, for this other festival. We'll just call it that.
Okay, yeah. I was going to bring it up. We're not going to bring it up now. Okay.
We can, I suppose. We'll get there.
Okay.
And then somebody commented or tagged the band and like, hey, what are you guys going to do? Are you going to show up in the same parking lot? And I think what I posted was, no, we're just going to show up at a Denny's and perform there. Or something. It was something along those lines.
Right. Just making a joke.
The only part I really remember is that I used a GIF of somebody in one of those blow up dinosaur costumes doing like smashing their hands on the table with like a fork and knife, demanding food. And then of course, many people are aware of the What's Up Denny's video.
Mm-hmm. I'm not.
Okay. So there was this. Okay, so I'll introduce you, my friend.
Okay.
So there was this hardcore band. They were a smaller band that performed inside of a Denny's many moons ago, and they're like, "What's up? What's up?" And that has its own notoriety. In all 100% fairness, I was not trying to be attached to that.
Right.
But that's not how the internet works.
Right.
The internet saw two things that were similar and said, these should be one thing.
You have no control. You put something out there online, you have no idea how people are going to take it, and people run with it on their own. Next thing you know, you're just a product of online, right?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
How hard was it to get to finally decide, because a lot of people still question. I see you commenting all the time. Yes, we're doing this. It's a real thing. Like you're convincing people who they don't believe that you're going to be doing this still, and it's 100%. It's going to happen, right?
No, it's going to happen. Okay. I mean, we just to go down the list, we filed for the LLC to have operating working business first and foremost, because when you're working with agents and managers and or you're going after sponsors, they want to see that you're a legitimate business. They're not just going to send money to William Wenz in Utah because he has a meme. Okay. Right. Here's my bank account. Send me money.
They're going to assume you're Mormon, and they're not going to want to sponsor you.
Yeah, I mean, Mormons are really good with money, though. So they're better with money than I am. So we did all that. We filed, the LLC, all that registry. We got the IRS tax filing. Flew out to Vegas, toured venues. Ultimately, we picked the one that we're hosting at, which is at Rockstar Bar. There's a little confusion on that too, because a lot of people is like, well, looks like it's a golf course. Well, okay, it's a concert venue and a golf course kind of shoved into one package. It doesn't sound like it should work, but it actually, as we were touring it, we're like, this facility is actually kind of bizarrely perfect.
Okay. So how many places did you visit when you went down to Vegas to pick the venue?
I want to say we visited 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
At least. So we somebody that we're working with has a very good history of putting on events and concerts and festivals. And this is an individual who, had 10 years plus, engaged with Warped Tour and its early heydays. So somebody who did punk rock bowling in Vegas. So this is somebody who knew what they were doing. And it kind of was a blessing, because we found somebody who had all the staging, had all the rigging, had all the staffing means right there in Vegas. Wow. The only burden that really falls on us is more or less on the hospitality side. Okay. But, the good news is it's Vegas.
So it turned from a 1-day festival to a 2-day festival, right? Mm-hmm. 2 days. Is that because the venue wanted you to rent 2 days out, or is that because the amount of bands wanting to join the festival?
Actually, neither. So, okay. I mean, yes, I'm sure there were fans who would love it if it was a 2-day thing. Alternatively, I'm sure the venue likes us paying them more money to rent their space. I'm sure that doesn't hurt. But realistically, what it boiled down to is there was a lot of bands that we were going after.
So my question was bands, not fans. So I said,
the bands. Yes. Sorry. Okay. I misheard. So when it came to tour routing, there would be these acts. It's like, well, we got a show in LA on Friday. We can do it Thursday.
Right.
And it just kept popping up so much. We're like, all right, screw it. We'll do it Thursday too.
Okay.
I'm kind of glad we did, because from a cost perspective, it makes more sense if you've already got all the rigging set up and everything's already there. It didn't cost us that much more to rent the venue for a second day. So it's like, well, this just financially makes sense. Because at the end of the day, meme or not, regardless of how it started, we do have to operate this like a real business, because
right.
Not letting anything out of the bag. We've been open about this. This is absolutely something we will want to do again, although there will be a name change.
Okay.
Yeah, again, going back to I had no intentions of starting a festival when I came up with the name.
Well, okay, so When We Were Hungry Festival is kind of a play off the other one of like when we were kind of, didn't have enough money.
The When We Weren't So Old.
Oh, okay, right.
There we go.
But then you have bands like I just saw Varsity's probably going to be on there. And which, I don't remember them from the early 2000s. I think they're a fairly newer band, right? Mm-hmm. So now are you just kind of going with bands that are just kind of well known? Like Tickle Me Pink makes sense because they've been around for a long time, right? Which I gotta say, I'm gonna say it right now. I talked to what's their drummer's name? Steven, whatever. And I said, you should have a reunion show on my podcast. 2 weeks later, reunion concert at the When We Were Hungry Fest. I'm like, God damn it. This is not that idea. I'm going to take credit for it. And I want to say that on here.
So what you're saying is you put it out in the ether.
I put it out there.
Divinely guided.
Yeah.
And originally you were doing bands though that were I would assume from like kind of the earlier 2000s, and then now you're just kind of going with bands that want to do it just to get the crowds in or whatever reason.
Well,
right?
So I think it needs to be a mix of both. I mean, when we sat down initially, like the first conversation I had with my business partners about this, like actual true conversation, probably started at like 10 o'clock at night, my time. And mind you, I'm on Mountain Time.
Yeah.
One of my business partners at the time was in Nevada, and one of them was in Ohio. And we probably were on the phone until 4 a.m.
Jesus, man.
It was just rattling off ideas and spitballing. And we were trying to come up with like, okay, what do we want this festival to be? Because I don't think the general public understands. You can't just put up a fake flyer and then go contact their agent and be like, hey, so we did a thing. You guys on board?
Right.
There's a lot more steps involved. And we had a list. It probably in total really was a list of over 250 artists that we wanted to contact.
Wow.
And a lot of I'd say the top percentage of that were old reunion bands. Like Tickle Me Pink obviously is one of those.
Right.
I feel like it wouldn't really make a difference by mentioning that they're on the list or not, but like bands we wanted to contact, like bands that we'd say like, this would be awesome if we could get, bands like Abandon All Ships, In Fear and Faith, a Static Lullaby.
Kind of like a dream team, right? Maybe. Yeah,
essentially. And, obviously we can't, you can have your dream list and you're not going to get all of them, and that's just reality. So, I'm really happy we got Tickle Me Pink.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to be there.
I'm happy to be there front and center.
Yeah, that's goddamn right.
And but at the same time, you need this mix of, we need to give people who are, frankly, your age and my age, what we want out of a concert, but also give the newer generation what they want while cross, platforming essentially. Because like Varsity, they've got really good music.
Yeah.
Right. But they are a newer band. So the people who are familiar with like Tickle Me Pink probably don't know who Varsity is.
Well, probably you'd be surprised. A lot of people kind of stay in the music scene that listen to that kind of music. But you're right. I would actually say the opposite. I would say people who know Tickle Me Pink probably know who Varsity is, but people that know who Varsity is may not know Tickle Me Pink.
Yeah, but in either case, I think you're going to get some cross pollination.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's, how many people does the venue hold?
So the venue. Well, there's what we're told it holds, and then there's what I actually figured out by fire code. So if we go off of what we were told, it's 2,500 per day. If I actually go off of fire safety code regulations, like my OCD just wanted to know, I mapped out what's the actual entire square footage of it using Google's ability where you can actually like trace out and find out how much square footage there is.
Wow, dedication.
Well, it was because I was like, there's no way 2,500 people is the only amount of people you can fit in this. So when I actually mapped it out, it was like a lot closer to 5,000.
Okay.
Nice.
But I think in reality, it's going to be ticket sales are probably going to be closer to 2,500 per day.
And when do tickets go on sale?
So we have early bird tickets up right now that you can get at the When We Were Hungry Festival.com site.
Okay.
We're only offering the 2-day pass right now.
Okay.
Now we are in the process. We're just finalizing a couple contracts with a few artists, and then we're going to be making another announcement of bands. And very shortly after that, we're going to drop pretty much the full lineup with a few exceptions that are going to be, to be announced because of legal reasons, contract reasons. And then that's when this individual and 2-day passes at their regular price will go up. Because I think there's a lot of people that are just trying to figure out, okay, who's playing what day and what day do I go?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, because that was like, especially one of their favorite bands is going to play the second day. Maybe they just want to buy the pass for that day. So do you? No, I just asked that. Sorry. How many?
You're good.
How many bands? So you keep on making these like slowly publishing bands, and in my head, I'm thinking oh, cool, they just got this band or they just secured this band. Is that the case, or do you kind of already know who it is already and then just kind of dropping them out as you see fit?
Kind of a bit of both, if I'm being honest. Nobody on my team would deny that the way that this festival is put together is not the conventional means. Okay. So in a conventional setting like Rockville or Rockfest or any of these other ones, you have all of those bands already contracted, already done away with, all of the legal stuff, and you figured out when you can announce, and you drop a full festival flyer, like bam,
Loading it. Yep.
And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but in our situation, we couldn't really blow our load in one shot. Okay.
Right.
Right.
We needed to create hype and maintain hype because again, we're a new company and a first year festival, and everybody thinks it's a joke at first, at its origin, right? So you have to overcome that.
Yes.
So progressively, by releasing, 3 or 5 or 6 bands at a time, that does kind of create that, oh crap, who are they going to announce next?
This is really happening.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I think when people started, they'll be like, is this thing actually real? It's like,
Yeah.
well, did you go to Tickle Me Pink's page? Because they're posting about it,
I think that now people realize, do you still get people who think it's a joke or think it's not going to happen at this stage?
I think that it's been pretty much done away with
by
this stage. I think now the bigger issue is who's the headliners. And of course, everybody wants to know that. We had something locked in, and it fell through for reasons that I can't really describe.
Right.
Okay.
You can, you just won't.
I would love to, but it may involve a legal retaliation against me. So.
Yeah. Yep. Let's do the winky thing again. We know what that means. We all know what that means. Do you have bands that have decided to come on in the original lineup or the original dream team that at first agreed to it and now for some reason can't make it? Or
are you talking about like artists that we had on that original meme flyer?
No. Well, I know that's changed. What, Don?
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, so I knew the original flyer changed because that was kind of the original flyer was still kind of a not really going to happen kind of thing.
Yep.
You had Set My Friends on Fire on there and a couple other bands. And then when you wind up starting to do it, I think the first band announced was Dropout Kings, I believe was the.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to just say it right now. I feel like I've had enough discussions with members in their camp to have a pseudo friendship. Okay. And I gotta say, like, that was like one of the best things that could have happened, getting them on as early as we could. I mean, those guys just hustle.
Right.
They're going to Australia. They're going to Honolulu. I mean, they're going to Japan next, like probably because like those guys just work their asses off.
Mm-hmm.
But are you saying more like bands that we had planned to announce and then they fell off?
Yeah, kind of thing, like bands that you were really looking forward to, and then they has bands came on and then fallen off, I guess is the question.
I mean, I'm going to have you read between the lines, but when you're doing stuff like this, sometimes the business is your own worst enemy.
You know what I love about you, man, is you can sit there and quickly come up with an answer. Like, how am I going to get around this answer but still give the answer? Like,
because I already knew these questions were coming, man. I knew. I've done your show before, sir.
Yeah.
I know your tricks.
I mean, I'm sure Modern Day Escape's going to be a headliner, right?
No. Here's the reality, and I mean this in the most humblest perspective. Of course, I want Modern Day Escape to succeed and grow and be big.
Absolutely, yeah.
I want us to do that on our own merits, not just because I pulled a fast one on the internet. Okay.
Gotcha.
Modern Day Escape, in all fairness, has not performed live in 9 years by the time this festival's come out. The last time we will have performed would have been a tour in 2013.
Oh, wow.
So is that 9 years? Whatever time frame that is.
Yeah, that's 9 years. Yeah.
So I don't think that, number one, we should pretend to be bigger than what we were at our peak.
Like
number two,
away from some of the other bands or the people going, maybe.
Yeah.
Reality, right? Okay, gotcha.
But then even in that perspective, like if you take what Modern Day Escape was at its peak Were we still bigger than Alisana and Hello Goodbye? No. Our Spotify numbers don't show that. So why are we going to make ourselves out to be better than what we are?
Gotcha.
Again, I love my band and I want my band to succeed. Our band wants to succeed. We're going to have a good time slot, right? Like I am going to pull that trick. But at the end of the day, we're not going to be a headliner.
Well, here's the thing, too. I could just imagine how chaotic it would be to put all of this together, as chaotic as it started, and then also trying to headline a performance, too.
I mean, just in general,
so
the planning behind this. It's like I picked a really good year to do this all because
you really did.
Because, well, yeah. So I've got the festival going on. So I got to plan that. I work a full-time job as a retail manager. I have the band, which we're trying to come out with a new EP. We're ramping up the last single to the other EP because there's a lineup change. So that kind of is what delayed that. I have a kid on the way that's coming literally in a month.
Congratulations on that too.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, I'm very excited, but it's just like, what else could I do? Because it's like,
is there a band you're excited about, saying that you were surprised maybe agreed to do the concert?
I'm just going to speak from 21-year-old me. I'm really the band I'm personally most excited for is Hope Die Last.
Cool, man.
This is a band that a lot of people kind of nicknamed as Italian Under Oath.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of music that has some similarities. Since then, they've clearly kind of created their own sound. They've always made really good music, but they've only come to the U.S. once, and that was in 2008 when they toured with Memphis Mayfire. And
then you guys got them to do the When We Were Hungry Festival. That's really cool, man.
Yep. I'm also excited to see them purely on the basis that I didn't really handle too much of the talent buying for this festival. That was not my area of expertise. I single-handedly handled Hope Die Last. That was
wow.
And it just was, I'm going to say it honestly, like it was kind of just the perfect situation where like you bring in a band over from any foreign country to fly in for one show without any tour supporting it is expensive.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, there happened to be something really good on their end that made it so it could work. And it's like kid in a candy shop. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. And I'm glad I did, because I think there's a lot of people who also are going to take this opportunity to see a band that they're probably not going to see very often.
Right.
Yeah, and I was super excited because you reached out to me like when the thing first started, it wasn't even a for real thing yet, and you asked to allow to go, and I was like yes, and then I said I mean fuck yes. That doesn't sound very exciting of me. Like I was like, sure, I'll go if you want me to, dude.
I mean, I'm just eating a banana right now. Nothing exciting.
I think it was like 2 a.m. though, and I was like, either I was still awake. I was still awake. Okay, I'm not even gonna lie. I was still awake. But now, are you guys? Is it an indoor or outdoor event?
Yes. So the way the whole setup is, and this is why when you go to look at the venue online, it can be really deceiving. So we're going to have one indoor stage that's inside the venue called Rockstar Bar. They regularly hold concerts there. That's also where we're going to have an after party. It's a smaller venue, but I'll explain how this whole thing works, and you'll understand why it makes so much sense why we picked this venue. So you've got this indoor stage, then you go outside a set of double doors that lead to the whole outdoor area, and there will be a patio stage, and then you have this strip that you kind of walk down, and there's this big green area. They call that the concert on the green. That's where the big stage will be.
Okay.
But the patio stage isn't like a small stage either. It's slightly smaller than the big stage.
There's two stages. Is it
3 in total?
Is it big enough to where? Different bands can be playing at the same time and not? Okay, perfect.
Yes. That was something that we really tried to take into consideration. Tyler, who's our head of production, his whole career has been audio engineer, for like live performances. He actually did front of house and sound for Amigo the Devil on their UK tour. So, I mean, he's working with some bigger acts, and this is something he encounters a lot. And so that's something that he worked through, again, with the guy who we partnered with that did all the Warped Tour and, Punk Rock Bowling. So that's something, yeah, you're going to have multiple bands going on at various times. We have,
I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to watch some of the bands that are going to be there, because I'm probably going to be busy doing my own thing. But but what were you gonna say? Oh,
I was just going to say, I think we sat down and we've got a spreadsheet that's probably changed 1,000 times of like different set times and moving people around, making it make sense for the biggest part possible. Like on paper, it makes sense to be like, the younger, lesser known bands, they open the thing, and then you put the big guys at the top, and then everything else just kind of transcends up that way. But you kind of need to mix it up a little bit. Like even Warped Tour, you might have Story of the Year performing at noon.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
And the first time I saw Story of the Year, it was at noon, and that was on when they were coming off of their song Until the Day I Die. So they were not unknown.
Right. Yeah, that was a real big hit. I can't sing. Anyways, we all know. I got 2 more questions for you. Are you guys worried about at all? And I hate to bring it up, but are you guys worried about COVID affecting the date of October? Because it seems like in the fall is when the virus does seem to kind of pick back up. And as dead as it seems right now, is it something that you've thought about anyways?
It's come up in discussion.
Okay.
I guess to this point, I'm speaking in broad terms here. Vegas as a city is not under any kind of specific special protocol. Okay. So we will be following all local protocol. This is the same protocol that all the other festivals are following. Right. Now, if anybody is personally concerned about it, I guess it would encourage, do what is right for you. Side note to that, if somebody is feeling ill, I hope that they would be honest and
not
not drag their germs in with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to be a little bit touch and go with that question though, because there's so many polar opposite opinions on it.
Yeah.
And we're providing a service for the broad public.
That's a good way to, God, I wish it was more like
I love it.
I just say whatever the fuck's on my mind. I probably should be a little more like you, but I don't know. That's why I got a podcast, I guess.
We got the Tom McDonald of podcasts over here.
Funny, everyone. But I did almost make a joke earlier after I made the Mormon joke, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to skip that other joke. The Mormon one did not go so well on the show. Okay, last question is: you said if you want to do this as a yearly thing, maybe an annually thing, or maybe just not the first time. Obviously, do you have a new name picked out already for how you want to continue going forward?
We have names. We have not selected and settled on one. I think it'll involve the word hungry somehow. Because kind of just call it what it is. Our gimmick is like breakfast food.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Do you think people are going to bring pancakes?
What's that?
You think people are actually going to bring pancakes?
I do know for a fact that one of the vendors we're trying to finalize is a breakfast food related, like food truck vendor.
IHOP. Just kidding.
And I'm going to say this to anybody and everybody out there who's like, "Oh, Denny should have totally jumped on board." Yes, I agree with you. They totally should have, but I can't sit here and make a company that is an S&P 500 company just shell out $100,000 to fund an entire music festival that has never actually done anything. Yet.
Right. Yeah. And that's how they're going to look at it in their corporate, world that they live in.
I mean, Denny's, if you're watching, we'd love to name a stage after you. Call it the Pancake Podium.
Oh, nice. That's a good one. I don't know. Anything else that you would like to say before we get off of this episode? I think I'm done with my questions. I thought that was good. Cool.
I'm going to just sum it up. I mean, yes, it's a real festival. We got some more announcements that are going to be coming down the pipeline pretty soon. Like I said, we're just waiting on some contracts. And then as soon as those go up, you should see the individual and 2-day ticket sales at the regular price go up, along with some additional merchandise. We got another t-shirt design coming. But if you want your tickets right now, you can get them at whenwewerehungryfestival.com. We are selling the 2-day pass early bird special at $130, or you can get the 2-day pass early bird special with the T-shirt at $150. So, in terms of festivals, even though we're smaller, that's still, I think, a really good price for the lineup that we have.
Yeah, compared to the other one that's like freaking super $1 billion expensive. This is going to be a fun concert, man.
It really is.
So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to be there. I appreciate you letting us be involved in any way.
Man.
And thanks for coming on the show for a second time and talking with me. It's the first time I think you met Don. You know, last time I had my camera flipped around and I had just started podcasting.
It was a train wreck. There was animals running loose.
Dude, William, thank you so much, man. Everyone,
you're very welcome, man.
Go check out Modern Day Escape. Please stay right there till after the outro song plays, please. I do want to thank everyone that listens to The Loud Spot. I do want to thank everyone involved with When We Were Hungry Festival. I want to thank Modern Day Escape. Please check us out on all podcasting platforms and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Damn it. That's all I got to say. Peace out, rock on, and much love.
This is The Loud Spot outro by Nothing Short of Tragic. Is this all talk with no action? No. Is this my thoughts with distraction? No. Is this what I bought that's in fashion? Or is this The Loud Spot with Sebastian? Yes. Does Nothing Short of Tragic have us back again? Yes. Does everything that's good really have to end? Yes. A pimp host has a pimp show, so to get more episodes, make an order, this is over.